Hi, everyone. I'm Brennan,
And I'm Carter.
and this is Bartering Hollywood, a podcast where we talk about things that are currently going on in pop culture and try to make a deal with Hollywood for something better. You're going to have
Yes.
to excuse how I look today. I'm sure you can see the ring around my eyes. That is called teacher eyes because my school went back into session, and my job this year essentially involves me chasing down students for 8 hours a day, figuring out where they are because I'm not a traditional teacher. So,
Yay.
yeah. And I'm also,
We love Mr. Brennan.
oh, yeah, Mr. Brennan is he's he's actually more liked this year because he's not in charge of people's grades.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but I'm coming to you live today from a Star Destroyer. Figured we'd switch it up a little bit because we're gonna have a little bit of a different episode today. Do you want to tell us what that's gonna be about, Carter?
Yeah, so we are going to cover some movies, Longlegs and the new Deadpool movie in particular, but we thought it would be fun if we made a draft. So we're going to have some topics, and me and Brennan are going to go against each other and try to make the better list. We can't use the same things that we pick. We'll get into that later. Um, but yeah,
Okay, so
so Longlegs, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
let me in now.
Now,
It could be
and it can
nice.
mean
What was the hold on? What was that? He did the cuckoo, cuckoo.
yeah, yeah.
That movie was
It
wild.
it was insane. It was so dreadful.
Yeah,
Like,
that is exactly how I would describe it, is the
yeah.
entire thing. And I'm gonna blame it on Micah Monroe.
Oh yeah,
It was
yeah.
so good
Dude, she
in that movie.
was amazing. I mean, I didn't have any doubts because it follows, but like she went above what I was expecting.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm gonna go full spoilers because Carter's seen it and I've seen it. So if you don't want
Yeah,
any
spoiler warning.
spoiler warning for both Longlegs and Deadpool, but
Yeah.
if you want to just skip straight to the game, that's probably the best thing for you to do. But I mean, from the get go, I mean, that first jump scare of the movie, you know what I'm talking.
Oh, oh yeah,
I'm not going to mention
yeah.
it because video will get taken down. But geez, Pete,
It was crazy. I mean,
I was fully expecting more Silence of the Lambs because that was obviously what. Oh, now I can't even think of the
the
director's.
inspiration. Yeah.
Which I also learned that the director is the son of he played Norman Bates in Psycho.
Really,
The actor who played Norman Bates in Psycho, his son was the director
that's crazy.
of Longlegs.
That is actually
Yeah, which I
like,
mean I mean when you've got a horror legacy like that, you cannot make
yeah,
a horror movie. But
yeah.
and that was and I wasn't expecting the doll twist.
Yeah, kind of came out of left field a little bit. In my like, not completely out of left field, but I wasn't expecting it to have such a importance
Right. And
to the
so
plot.
this is something I was listening to the Dead Meat podcast. Shout out to them. If you don't listen to the Dead Meat podcast, you should do that, Chelsea and James. I say that like they're my friends, but they're amazing. They were talking about Longlegs because they did a special screening with Mike Monroe, and um, I swear I'm gonna think of the director's name eventually. But they did a special screening and they made sure to point out at the end of the movie, did you notice that Longlegs was living in the basement?
Yeah, yeah. Also, one thing that I caught after, I don't know if you remember the scene where Micah's character calls her mom and it rings for like 15 seconds and she's like, "You're always what are you doing?" She was in the basement. She was helping. She
Oh,
was
oh my God.
yeah. So that was something that kind of clicked in my head a little bit. Also, just a summary, if you haven't seen it and you don't care about it, Longlegs basically, um, serial killer out on the loose. Micah Monroe's character is tasked with bringing him in. Um, they think that they have him, but it turns out to be more of a, I guess, supernatural um, element to it with the devil and all that.
Yeah.
So
And it, you get less Nicolas Cage than I expected.
I thought I was expecting like full Nick Cage.
Yeah, I was expecting Renfield level, like just let
Yeah,
Nick Cage do whatever the hell Nick Cage wants to do.
yeah. I think he did. I think he
I
still did
mean,
because
the scene after the drugstore, mommy, daddy. Jeez,
that killed me.
when he was just walking down the road before he got arrested, he's just there.
Just living. He based it off of his mom. Did you know that?
Nicolas Cage based Longlegs off of his mom.
Yeah. So she used to put cold cream on her face, and he said like whenever he was 3, he walked into the bathroom one day, and she turned to him and did the cuckoo thing, and he said it terrified him. And so I think he said in an interview, if you ever see me doing something weird, and you're like, why did you do that? It's my mom, he said. So it's
That is
those
wild.
little hand movements when he sings, "Let me in now."
Was,
Yeah.
I mean, that movie was just, and I didn't expect him to take himself out of the movie.
Oh yeah, no, no. I'm glad he did though. Like it added to it. Like the less you get, the more you get.
Yeah, and it provided, you know, that third act twist that, Micah Monroe's character needed to figure out that, like, oh, there
Yeah.
is an accomplice. Like, no, this is not done because she had that psychic sort of ability that
Yeah, she would like, yeah.
I've seen a lot of people talking about, like, oh, that didn't really make sense. They didn't really explain it. They don't have to. They
They
showed
don't.
us they showed us at the beginning of the movie. Yeah, she's got some weird thing that makes her very sure of things. She
He's
gets
got an inkling. He's
ESP premonition something.
yeah,
And that's all we needed to know.
that's it.
But I'm sure that the actual in-universe explanation is like, oh, because her mom helped make the deal with the devil, you know,
Yeah.
that
It was always to get her back to where
yeah,
they were at full circle. But to not stay on long legs, do you want to move to Deadpool and Wolverine?
yes, because I mean the complete opposite end of the
Oh,
spectrum.
the complete
You
the
talk about
complete opposite.
feeling dreadful with long legs. I don't think I stopped smiling watching Deadpool and Wolverine. Like
Oh, never,
it was
never.
absolutely incredible. And I will say full spoilers here if you managed to skip past long legs to this.
Oh yeah.
Freaking Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm. Johnny Storm. My favorite top 3 Marvel characters. I love Human Torch. I have a poster of him.
Well, now I
It
want to
was
complain
amazing.
about the Joseph Quinn casting, but that's for another day.
Uh,
Um, we'll talk that when we talk Comic Con news and
oh
maybe
yeah.
episode. But I knew, like, I was watching it with my dad, and my dad raised me on that era of Marvel movies, like
Yes.
Fantastic Four, um,
The old X-Men movies.
the old
Yeah.
X-Men movies, Spider-Man.
Daredevil. Yeah.
I've never seen Daredevil or Elektra, but I know they're like,
Watch them. They're awful, but they're great because
I
they're
mean, the
awful.
Daredevil suit tells me everything I need to know. But
Yeah. Oh, I will say, again, like some of my top Marvel characters, Blade, amazing. I mean, sorry, there's a bug in here, but Blade has always been a favorite of mine. Being able to see him again on the big screen. Well, not again. I never got to see Blade on the big screen.
right.
So
So I unfortunately had Elektra spoiled for me.
really,
Yeah, because they did which was the dumbest thing. At Comic-Con, they screened Deadpool and Wolverine for fans in Hall H, and afterward they invited all of the cameos out. And I didn't know that that was the video I was watching. It just popped up on my TikTok.
oh no,
And it was like, let's bring out some of the stars of the movie. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe, we'll see.
Jennifer Garner, Jennifer.
I was like, we'll see, and because I was stupid in that moment. And then they were like, Jennifer Garner as Elektra. And I was like, huh?
Yeah,
What do you mean? But let's talk about those cameos because that's what everybody I think was hopeful
yeah.
for with these movies. What did you think? Because obviously we got Johnny Storm, which I think was a bit of a fake out for the audience
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
because
I
it makes you think like, why is Captain America talking like this? Oh, because he's not Captain America.
Yeah.
Of course, it's the little
I
shit.
wasn't thrown off by that just because it's they were driving the Fantastic car in the brigade, like the
See, I
Mad
didn't
Max
I didn't
style
even
stuff.
notice that until after Cassandra Nova did her little to Johnny Storm.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, the cameos were, man. I mean, Johnny Storm, Chris Evans killed it.
Yeah.
As I mean, he carried those movies. Let's be honest.
Oh, he did. I mean,
Yeah.
say what you want about Jessica Alba. She was
Oh yeah.
cast as Sue Storm. Yeah, put a Hispanic woman in a blonde wig and blue contacts. That's gonna look right.
I will say Reed Richards,
That was good casting.
good casting, and I
And
like the fact that they did practical effects for the thing.
yeah, and the Doom casting in those original movies I do like, which we need to talk about the new Doom casting eventually. I'm still
Oh,
trying to
I was thinking about talking about it
I'm still
this
trying to
episode.
gather my
That's
thoughts.
too much to unpack. That's too.
Yeah.
Let's get on. Let's move from Fantastic Four. So
Yeah.
you get
We got Elektra.
you got to like. I think that's the coolest Marvel team we've seen. Putting aside Avengers, Fantastic Four, the team up of Blade, Elektra, Gambit, Deadpool,
Which
Wolverine.
Gambit was the one that I did not expect.
Yeah, I
When they
also. Oh, continue.
when they went into the void, I was like, yeah, there is the chance that we're gonna see these retired Marvel universes. Like, yeah, we may see
Yeah,
Ben Affleck's Daredevil. We may see Tobey Maguire again.
yeah,
We may see um, Michael B. Jordan or Miles Teller back as a version of
yeah,
those characters. But when friggin' Channing Tatum walked in doing, in my opinion, a perfect Cajun
yeah.
accent.
People don't know what that sounds like though.
No,
So
they don't. But
yeah,
being from the South, knowing people who talk like that,
it's crazy.
like he was incredible.
Yeah, I will say like um a lot of people laughed when he was talking. I laughed when he talked
Oh yeah,
because
I
it
did too.
sounds funny. Sounds funny, but
Call me the Gambit.
I don't think
I
people
know.
understand that that's a real accent like that exists down here, and I don't think they knew that Gambit has that Cajun.
Yeah, Gambit is from New Orleans.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he is from
Also, Gambit was like whenever they were talking about when they got there, he said, "I don't know. I think I was born here." That's because his movie got canceled
his
before it
movie
was
got
ever.
canceled. His timeline was pruned,
Yeah.
which
So
is so meta, so amazing. And honestly, I think my favorite line of the movie might have been not when Ryan Reynolds, when Deadpool does the "Who's your dialect coach?" the minions, but it's the line. It's either right before or right after that, where he was like, "You're gonna have to slow down. It's been a minute since I've seen Sling Blade."
yeah,
The Sling Blade reference. I was like, "Who brings it?"
yeah,
Unless you are my father, I have never heard someone name drop Sling Blade in something,
yeah. That
which is great.
my my
If you have not seen Sling Blade, great movie.
my
But
entire family lost it with the Sling Blade thing. I was gonna say my favorite line was probably I did like the minions. The minions made me chuckle a lot, but um, Blade when they were going around like I'm the only one. I'm the only one, Blade.
and
And
Daredevil's just like, or Deadpool's just like,
yeah, but it's because they can't make a Blade movie. I taught that's my first or second barter on the show is give me a Blade movie.
give me a Blade movie because Mahershala Ali is just sitting there. He's just ready.
Yeah,
Another moment I loved, and it's still in the void. It's and you have to know the real life history of Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck. But when they were like, "We had a Daredevil, he died," and then Deadpool was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and Elektra just goes, "That's fine." Like I looked at my dad and I was like, "That's genius.
yeah.
That is genius right there." But
It was
overall, I thought it was really good.
I loved it. I know a lot of people are nitpicky about like plot holes and plot armor, but it's a Deadpool movie.
It's a
And
Deadpool movie. And some people have been saying like it did nothing to set up the future of the X-Men in the MCU. I don't think it was supposed to.
no, it wasn't supposed to. I think what it did its job in the sense of it's explaining to the general audience what happened to the X-Men and what happened to the Fantastic. Because unless you keep up with the movies, it gets to be a lot with the MCU.
Right.
And so I know when the first Avengers movie came out, people were talking, "Oh, where's Toby? Where's Spider-Man? He doesn't exist in the same universe." So I think this was just a good explanation.
Yeah, and it offers like this way because Deadpool kind of saved his universe from being um pruned.
Yeah,
It still offers those moments. Like if you are a fan of the X-Men films, which I mean, I'm a fan of the X-Men films,
I love them.
especially First Class, which is I think my favorite X-Men film, First
Yeah,
Class.
give me the 2000s one though. Like I love the cheesiness of the
Yeah,
first X movie. Yeah,
what happens to a toad when it gets struck by lightning? Mwah, beautiful line, beautiful writing. It's amazing. But it offers that to you. It doesn't erase Logan as this beautiful send off of the Wolverine,
yeah,
but it tells you like, yeah, you can have those because those still exist, and we made sure that we're not erasing them.
yeah,
We're just offering you something different.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine really set a new bar for what Disney is capable of, and especially Disney and Marvel. And
And I think it
I'm
reflects too that they're taking a lot of their focus away from the Disney Plus content, which they've talked about.
yeah,
We literally, I think, only have Agatha coming out this year.
can't think of anything else. Agatha, maybe a Hawkeye, but I don't I that hasn't been announced.
I think we might be getting zombies in the next year.
Yeah, and unless it got canceled, unless it got
Like,
canceled.
I haven't heard anything about zombies in a long time. So,
Yeah,
but anyway, yeah, I think it reflects that Marvel is going in a really good direction. But to get on to the more fun part of today, I'm not even sure if we will necessarily have a barter at the end of it.
yeah,
Um, but I think that what we're going to see happening here is us bartering with each other.
yeah.
Um,
It'll make up for it. Yeah,
so I think, yeah, this will be a fun little
little
twist.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a little game, little twist on our usual way of bartering.
yeah.
So Carter, you
So
want to introduce it?
yeah, so we're going to do a draft, and this is a popular game, but if you're not familiar with it, basically we have a topic. Our first topic is going to be superhero movies. We can each only pick five, but if Brennan goes first and he says Captain America, I can't pick Captain America anymore, and vice versa. If I say Iron Man, he can't pick Iron Man. We're gonna go to five, and at the end of it, we're going to see who has the better draft and who comes out on top. And we're going to do superheroes, horror movies, Disney movies, and then actors and actresses. So, Brennan, do you want to start us off with your first draft pick on superhero movies?
Yeah, I definitely will because I know my first pick is Multiverse of Madness.
Okay, I'm going to be honest, that was not on my radar. That was not on
I
my
did not think it would be.
that's
You
not
know,
on
I
my
had to
radar.
pick it because of Wanda.
I knew you were going to pick that, and I have one other that you might pick, but I don't know if my list will be complete, so I'm not going to mention it. Okay, so if you have Wanda or multiverse,
Multiverse.
I'm going to take Guardians of the Galaxy Volume One.
Ooh, Volume 1.
Volume One.
Okay, getting very specific with it. Is there a reason you picked Volume 1 over the other two?
I think that it has more. I don't want to say heart, but it has more audiences captivated by it than the other two. So
Okay, okay. I'm actually going to venture out of the realm of Marvel for
oh,
my next one. And this might actually be a shock because I don't know if we've ever talked about how much I love this movie, but Batman 1989.
wow. Okay.
Because I mean, Michael Keaton's performance as Batman, Michael Keaton could have easily played the Joker
Oh yeah.
movie, but his performance as Batman opposite Jack Nicholson as the Joker, like that is, I don't have to explain
Iconic.
how good that
Yeah. Yeah.
is.
No.
It's
I I didn't even think about not Marvel because we talked about Deadpool. So my entire list, now I'm rethinking everything. Okay. I'm gonna stay with Marvel for my next one. Um, I am going to pick Iron Man 1.
Okay. Arguably the only good Iron Man.
Hey, I have a love for Iron Man too.
I mean, aside from Spider-Man Homecoming, Iron Man 1 is the best Iron
Oh yeah.
Man. Oh, I dropped all my notes.
Uh-oh.
Um,
But yeah, I mean Iron Man 2, rewatch it if you haven't seen it. It's actually pretty good.
I
Pretty
want my board.
you're
Want my
you're
board.
no
Okay. So my next one, I'm gonna dip back into Marvel. Um, and I'm gonna go with definitely an unconventional choice, but I did just mention it. Spider-Man Homecoming.
okay. And is there a
Because
specific reason?
so with Spider-Man Homecoming, I remember just being so excited about Tom Holland as Spider-Man because when he was cast, he was a teenager. And as much as I love Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, of course, were the Spider-Man that we grew up with. But there was something that was so interesting about Tom Holland's and just the fact of like you could tell that Tom Holland himself was just genuinely happy to be there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like some people can kind of say that that detracts away from the movie because it's like, oh, he's not really Peter Parker, blah 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 blah.
I'm
No, there's
so
something so genuine about the fact that Tom Holland has like loved Spider-Man since he was two, and he's
yeah.
I'm Spider-Man. Like
Yeah.
it's amazing.
I mean Holland Spider-Man that came out, he was in the same grade that we were in when that movie came out. I'm pretty sure. If we were not, we might have been one grade above him.
So I was a sophomore going into my junior year of high school when the movie came out. So are you saying the age of his character or the age of the actor?
Character.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say Tom Holland's older
Okay.
than us.
Yeah, so it hit me, and I'm sure it hit you in a very important part in our life, where we could actually see that character in ourselves,
Right,
especially with Far From Home,
right.
and but yeah, no, that's a solid pick, solid pick. I'm going out of the MCU. Technically, it's now the MCU, but Blade. It is. I don't know what it is. I think it's the fact that he's a vampire, and that's cool. Why I like Blade so much, but I don't know. He's such a cool character. His background, um, his abilities, I guess, is what's the big draw for me.
Yeah, that's a good pick. And I mean, you don't have modern Marvel movies without Blade. You don't.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, it's the first one.
Yeah.
So
So it's a good pick. I'm gonna venture back out of the MCU to the now actually truly pruned universe that is known as the DCEU.
uh-uh,
Um,
don't
and I'm
do
gonna
it.
pick Shazam.
That's slept on. That's okay.
Not Shazam Fury of the Gods.
I I watched that, and I actually had a good time watching that
I
movie.
had a good time too. I like it, but definitely the first one is leagues better.
Yeah, yeah. I'm. You know what? I'm gonna hop in that car with you and go to the DCU,
Okay.
and I'm gonna get the Suicide Squad,
James
not
Gunn.
Suicide Squad, but James Gunn's. Yeah.
James Gunn. Okay, good pick. Is there, I mean, obviously the reason you picked that one over
Oh,
David
obviously.
Suicide
Yeah,
Squad is, I mean, it's just a much better realized film. But other than that,
yeah. I don't think that was the first movie that made me really chuckle like hard consistently. So yeah. All right, we're on our last picks for superheroes, so we gotta
yeah, and
make it count.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm having a difficult time filling out my last one. I kind of want to ask, can we pick a superhero TV show?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, because if we're gonna pick a superhero TV show, I am actually going with Agents of Shield.
I've never seen it.
So I didn't finish it, but as it being like the first venture of the MCU to try something other than a movie and see like this first true like experiment
Mhm.
other than can we make a blockbuster superhero movie, this kind of just being like can we make a fun interesting little espionage TV show, like I do like it, so I am going to go with Agents of Shield.
Okay. Okay. I guess I'll do a TV show too. It's a cartoon though, from the 90s, Spider-Man the animated series.
Oh, I thought for sure you were going to say X-Men.
I know. I knew you were. I knew you were. Spider-Man the animated series, probably my favorite adaptation of that character. Um, and I mean, it did so much for comics and comic readers because the version of Spider-Man that you know now, the version of his villains that you know now, those designs originate with that show.
That's
So
true.
yeah.
Those are great
Um,
picks.
so our lists are complete. Do you want to go over yours and then I'll say mine?
Yeah, so I'll say mine are Multiverse of Madness, Tim Burton's Batman, 1989, Spider-Man Homecoming, Shazam, and Agents of Shield.
Okay. And mine is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, Iron Man, Blade, The Suicide Squad, and Spider-Man the Animated Series. Let me redo my list, Mom. Thank you. Mom, it's okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. You brought me a grilled cheese, man.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Um, my list is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, Iron Man 1, Blade, The Suicide Squad, James Gunn's version, and Spider-Man the Animated Series from the 90s. So
Good picks. Okay, so
yeah,
leave a comment. I guess if we're on Spotify, Carter might make another one of those polls.
yeah,
Whose
yeah,
hero movies are better? Whose superhero movie list is better?
yes.
And so I guess what we can do with these barters is we'll make this our barter rather than doing a true like deal with Hollywood at the end. What I'll say is like whoever's list wins, it's like those are the superhero movies you get to keep and the rest go away.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's
our barter
interesting.
there.
That's interesting.
I guess we could have established that before. That might have made our picks a little bit different, but
Yep.
moving into horror movies, we'll go with those rules. And that's just
Okay.
kind of our tester round there.
All right.
We'll go
And
with those.
there's one thing I wanted to ask you for horror. Did we want to do horror like scary, or do we want to do like horror adjacent too?
I'm going, I'm going everything.
Okay.
Everything
Okay.
that's in the realm of horror.
So even like family friendly stuff?
Do you mean like Hotel Transylvania?
No. No.
Like,
I,
what do
I
you mean?
I mean like by horror adjacent, I guess I mean like spooky time movies
Oh, like Halloween Town?
yeah. Do we want to keep that out of this or just like
Yeah, let's just stick with
yeah.
the stuff that's designed to scare.
We'll save that for our Halloween episode.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so
start this one.
since you went first time, I get to
Yeah, it's
go.
photos fun, everybody.
Yeah. Um, coming out strong. I'm taking Scream.
Okay,
I love Scream so much.
that's a
That's all I have to say about that. That's
that's a good one, and I'll back it up with an even stronger one. Another the Wes Craven product, Nightmare on Elm Street 2: Freddy's Revenge.
okay. Do we just want to do if we say franchise, you get all that? Like,
No, let's just go specifics in these
okay,
franchises
we'll do specifics.
because I'm gonna say Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is the Nightmare on Elm Street movie I can watch the most. I love that movie so much, and not just because of Jesse Walsh being my favorite horror character of all time. I love Jesse. I went as Jesse for Halloween a couple of years ago, um, and of course he's the only male scream queen. He's a gay icon, um, but just
There is Justin Long is coming. for that
You're
Scream Queen.
right. You're right
Yeah.
because of
It,
Jeepers Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers, Barbarian,
Never seen
and
Tusk. That's
yeah,
wild.
don't
Wild
watch that.
movie.
Don't
Don't watch
don't recommend that movie.
Tusk. It's terrible.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
This is such a hard. I think that this is harder than the superhero movies for me. I see my scary movie list or my scary movies over here. Give me The Exorcist
Ooh,
first.
good
First one.
choice.
Yeah.
Good choice. I mean that definitely sticks in that thriller psychological space and
Oh
like
yeah.
first one to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's pretty old and the effects. Some say that it doesn't hold up, but I watched it for the first time really not too long ago, just because I'd always stayed away from that because I've been told it's cheesy and whatever. It was the first of its kind, so of course it's going to be cheesy to us now. But watching it, it gave me goosebumps. It was creepy, man.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
insane.
it's cheesy, but it has so much staying power. I mean,
Yeah.
we used to make a joke with my little sister when she'd wake up in the mornings and her hair would be wild when she was a kid. It's like, oh, here comes Linda Blair.
Oh yeah.
Or, I mean, even the most recent season, I'm not sure if you're a Drag Race fan, but the most recent season of Drag Race, they had a horror movie parody challenge, and one of the
Really?
did The Exorcist. Like she was the character of
I need to see that. I
yeah,
need to see
like
that.
they did this whole musical episode challenge. It was wild. But yeah, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. Purely for
Okay.
the staying power of that movie.
Yeah, that's kind of why I picked that one. Yeah.
But another movie that has staying power that I'm gonna go with, Halloween 1978.
I was hoping you wouldn't say that, and
Of course I had to go with that. I
I
mean,
know.
that is like the quintessential slasher movie.
Oh, most definitely. I'm moving out of frame so I can cheat and look at my scary movies that I have over here. Um, you know what? I am gonna stay with John Carpenter and go The Thing.
That's a good pick. I was thinking you might go there after you picked The Exorcist
Yes.
because The Thing kind of has that same vibe where it's like this, what the heck is going on?
Yeah. If you have not seen The Thing, I cannot stress how important it is that this spooky season you play that movie.
Yeah.
The graphics, the effects hold up today. John Carpenter made it. He did Halloween, so you know it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
The soundtrack.
Make sure you are watching the original John Carpenter film.
Yes, there's
Russell.
like three of them. Yeah,
Yeah, not the remake from a few years ago, not The Thing from Outer Space from the 50s,
yeah,
but The Thing.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good pick too. Um, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna dive deep back into the classics, and I might pick one that might be on your list. I don't know, but I'm gonna go with James Whale's Frankenstein,
Okay.
the Boris Karloff version of Frankenstein, because if you watch that movie, that is the monster movie to me that plays the most like a three-act structure film
Yeah.
because Dracula is a shortened adaptation of the stage play that
Mm.
came out before that. The Wolfman kind of rushes through the story pretty quickly, but Frankenstein and the fact that Frankenstein is the only one of those original films to get a true sequel to bring back Boris Karloff.
Yeah.
I mean, because you can say Bride of, or you can say Dracula's Daughter, Son of Dracula,
Yeah.
The Mummy's Hand. You can
The
say all
She
of
Wolf
those.
of London. Yeah.
Yeah, She Wolf. You can say all of those are sequels, but the only one to get a true, I mean, pick up where the first film left off sequel is Frankenstein. And that
Yeah.
is The Bride of Frankenstein, which almost went on my list, but I do have to skip past Bride of Frankenstein. I'm sorry to say.
I understand. I mean, I was thinking about. We'll save this for Halloween, but I want to do a draft with just the classic monster.
Yeah,
That would rip each other's head off.
I
Yeah.
had to go with Karloff's Frankenstein on that one.
That's fair. So my favorite Universal monster is the Wolfman. So I'm thinking about going Lon Chaney.
Not Benicio del Toro?
No, no, no.
No, the right choice is Lon Chaney's
Yeah,
Wolfman.
and it's kind of relevant because we can be expecting to see a trailer for the Wolfman sometime in October.
That's actually true. Lee Whannell's
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh. And if it's not in October, if it doesn't debut in October, I think it's gonna be coming this month or next month.
That's
Um,
crazy. Wow.
so the Wolfman, the new one, it sounds really interesting because it's different. It's different from what we've seen with this character because the premise that was originally for the script, and it could have changed by now because there's really not a lot of information.
Hmm. Is Ryan
But
Gosling still in it?
no, he dropped out because they waited too long.
Okay. Who took over his spot?
I would have to Google that. I don't I don't know. But the premise for it is a family moves into a new house in the woods, and something's in the woods and it's tormenting them. So if that stays true, that sounds
That's an interesting way to do Wolfman.
it is. And I've
Wolfman's
always
always been character driven. Like the character of
yes,
Lawrence Talbot has always been.
the focal point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing that has always stayed with me, even as a kid, um, werewolves are not considered by society or pop culture to be scary necessarily, but they've always had something to me that has made them beyond menacing. Like just the fact of something like that lurking in the dark, coming after you is
I
terrifying.
mean, just the metaphor of a werewolf is it's
Yeah,
not this monster, it's a person that
yeah,
has no control over what they're doing.
yeah.
It's no recollection of it when they wake up. That is a
Uh-huh.
horrifying notion.
No recollection and all of the consequences
Yeah,
that come along. Um, but yeah, so I'm going the Wolfman, Lon Chaney.
good choice. I'm gonna go because I know you're not gonna pick my fifth one. So I'm
Okay.
gonna go ahead and take this one off the board because you made me think of it with the Wolfman. I'm
Uh-oh.
taking Lee Whannell's Invisible Man.
No. Oh,
I knew it.
no.
Because that movie, honestly, when it came out in February of 2020, that was the last movie I saw in theaters before the pandemic. And I told myself, if we never go back to reality, if we never go back to life as is, the last movie I saw in theaters was The Invisible Man. And I'm okay with that because
Yeah,
that
what a way.
movie is so freaking good. I mean, Elizabeth Moss's performance in that movie. I think my favorite moment in that film is the where she pretends to take the pen and, she's going to take that drastic action. And she knew she was going to do it to trap him.
Yeah,
That was just such genius writing
it
because
was
I
insane.
didn't pick up on it the first time I watched it as an audience member that was what she was doing. I thought she was truly going to take herself out,
Yeah,
but she was doing it to trap him to prove that he was there. And
yeah,
the scene in the restaurant with the sister.
yeah.
Oh
Well,
my God.
dude, is it the scene where somebody's climbing up into an attic and the paint spills?
Yes.
Or yeah, and
She
he's
dumps the
there.
paint on him because she knows he's there.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
mean that.
the slap of the friend's daughter, and he
Yeah,
blamed her. She was 5 foot away from you, dude. No wonder this girl went insane.
yeah. Also, not to stay off of this one, but the original Invisible Man, that might be. I know I love the Wolfman. I know I love Creature from the Black Lagoon, but I think that might be the best classic monster
That is
movie.
Claude Rains' best performance in a monster movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely unhinged, insane. I love it.
So we're on to our final
Mhm.
round of this draft, and I'm kind of torn. I don't know if I should go modern or stick with the classics. Um, you know what? I am gonna go modern. I have a lot of classics. I think I need one modern movie, and this I think is gonna catch you off guard. I don't know if you've seen it, but Smile.
I have not.
I know what everybody's thinking listening to this. It's it looks cheesy. It looks awful. It looks like Truth or Dare. It is so different than that. I mean, I went in with the expectations of Truth or Dare, another one of those, and I was so pleasantly surprised. The scares are solid. The dread
Mm.
is insane. I don't want to spoil anything for you. I just want to say that there is a scene where, um, to give you a summary, it's a curse movie.
Mm.
It's a curse. So something is following her around. There's a scene where she is alone in her room, and there's no jump scare. There's nothing. She just hears her name being called
Oh,
down the hall, and it's in a normal voice. There's no rasp. There's no nothing. And I think that is the scariest scene in a movie that's really gotten me. It's just crazy. And
that's effective.
yeah, it is because when you choose not to do the jump scare, you give a lot more time to the audience to take it in. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. I like that choice. And I know there's a sequel coming out to that one soon. So
yeah,
maybe during spooky season I'll give the first one a watch and we can
you
talk
gotta.
about
Yeah.
that. My final pick, and I'm gonna go more that horror adjacent route with this one just because I have to right now because it's still so fresh in my heart because I just closed the stage version of this movie.
I know
Going
it.
with Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, which, if you have not seen that movie, it is an adaptation by Tim Burton of the Stephen Sondheim stage musical. It stars Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter as Sweeney Todd and Mrs. Lovett. And it is the bloodiest movie I think I've ever seen. I mean, when when Sweeney offs his victims, the amount of blood that just pours out of these people. No human has ever bled that much in their life, but it is so gory and horrific. And to hear, Johnny Depp singing while he's doing that,
Yeah.
it makes it makes the stage version so much more fun, especially, like we did it very similarly in our version. We had that, the amount of blood dropping out over people and people sliding away to their death. Like, so yeah, so that's very fresh in my heart. So Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
All right. Again, our lists are very, very solid. And so we're going to go over our list. But remember, Brennan set the new stakes. Whichever list you get rid of no longer exists. All right. So I got Scream, Exorcist, The Thing, Lon Chaney's Wolfman, and Smile.
Good choices. I've got Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, Halloween, the original from 1978, Boris Karloff's Frankenstein, the 2020 Invisible Man, and Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, the Tim Burton adaptation.
I think Halloween gives you a serious edge on this list. I think.
Honestly, I'm gonna say that having Halloween, Frankenstein, and the Invisible Man
Yeah,
as my choices gives me a strong edge. But you put The Exorcist on there, and you
I
cannot
did.
argue with The Exorcist.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Next topic for our draft. Um, Disney movies.
mm-hmm.
Brennan gets the pleasure of going first. I know this is his favorite topic.
As we've discussed before, I have worked for Disney. I am currently in the midst of directing and producing my first stage show, which is going to be Disney's Beauty and the Beast. And in that vein, my first pick is going to be the original 1991 Beauty and the Beast
That is
cartoon.
that might be one of my favorite Disney movies ever.
Because
Ever.
it came out 2 years after The Little Mermaid, which started the Disney Renaissance. For those of you who are not aware, that is, the resurgence of Disney animated features. But it took what the Little Mermaid did so well and just perfected what the Little Mermaid did, and it does it better than the films that follow. I'm not ashamed to say that. It does it better than Aladdin. I know that they're for different audiences ultimately. It
Yeah.
does it better than Mulan. It does it better than The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I mean, it is just the most solid of the Renaissance animated features, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I can't disagree with that.
So
Um,
that would be my first pick.
but since you have such a strong first pick, I'm gonna have to take Tangled. Um,
Ooh,
yeah, I need something to compete
good
with that.
because that
I,
kicked off modern Disney animation.
yes, yeah. Um, I will say, you know, not picking any of the Renaissance movies, I think that might be the most Disney movie
Yeah,
to exist right now. Is Tangled.
yeah, that's very valid. I mean, if you look at Princess and the Frog, maybe you have a case against it, but Tangled
Yeah,
is a very, very strong pick.
yeah,
So for my next one, also I just got the 10-minute warning on my thing.
okay.
So after this one, we'll have to pause and start a new one. Um, but for my second pick, I'm moving over into the realm of Pixar, and I am picking Luca.
Okay. I was very surprised by that movie when I first saw it. It took me back.
I do not remember being super excited for Luca until I was in Disney World in 2021 and the film had not come out yet, but I saw a sign hanging on the back of the Chinese theater at Disney's Hollywood Studios. And I remember looking at that poster and I looked at my sister and I was like, "Have you seen the trailer for that?" And she was like, "Yeah, it looked kind of cute, kind of cutesy." And I was like, "Yeah, it did. It looked pretty good. That's going to be a good movie." And then when I saw it, I sobbed. I
Yeah,
sobbed watching that movie.
yeah,
It was so good. So I cannot let this list go by without picking Luca.
that's fair. That's fair. I'm gonna go with my favorite Disney movie as a kid, Hercules. I love Hercules. Oh my gosh, I can talk about it
Very, very good pick.
for ages. The soundtrack, in my opinion, is the best. Megara's song, "I Won't Say I'm in Love."
Which,
That
fun fact, the actress who played Meg went on to play Belle in the Broadway.
really,
Well, no, no, no. She played Belle first, then Megara, but she played
okay.
Belle in the original Broadway cast of Beauty and the Beast.
That's really the small world. I guess not small. Full circle.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
got to take over someone's role, then create her own. But anyway,
yeah.
just a fun little aside.
I'm glad the live action version of Hercules is canned, as far as we know.
Yeah, the Russo brothers are definitely moving on to.
Yeah, Chris Pratt as Hercules is not something I need
Yeah, no,
or
I
want.
think I would shelve my love for Disney at that point.
Yeah, and I don't even know who could play Megara. Um,
Liz Gillies is the only option.
yeah, I don't. I'm trying to like think off the. I don't know. It's such a demanding cast.
It
I will
is.
say, Jeff Goldblum as Hades is
Would eat.
perfection. But besides that, okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I'm going to move on now to a golden age Disney film. And yes, I understand it has several parts of it that are very questionable nowadays. When you play it on Disney Plus, it does give you a warning.
oh no.
There's depictions of people that are not accurate and such, but it is Peter Pan.
Oh, okay, yeah,
It is Peter Pan. You cannot deny that when You Can Fly starts playing, I mean, chills every time.
yeah,
I get chills every time, or just thinking of just that the way that the voices sound in that movie. Bobby Driscoll as Peter Pan, just the "we fly, of course," doing that transatlantic accent. And then you've got Wendy, Peter, Peter for the entire movie. It's just it. I didn't grow up watching that one, but it was one that I came to love as I got older, and especially as I worked for Disney.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so that's why I have to go with that one, just because. It's just a beautiful movie.
All right.
Even Return
Um,
to Neverland, the sequel that they made for direct to DVD years later,
yeah,
is a wonderful
I
movie.
saw that before I saw the original one. And
Really,
I was always confused when we put in Peter Pan and it wasn't Wendy as an adult. I was like,
when this,
what
this
is
is wrong, this is wrong.
yeah, some off-brand Peter Pan right here.
Dollar store.
Um, so as it turns out, this is the first movie I've ever seen in a movie theater. I have no recollection of it at all. I don't remember anything, but I loved it as a kid growing up, and it's Finding Nemo.
Oh, good choices.
Finding Nemo.
Good choice there. That is one that yeah, my sister had that one on repeat when we were kids. It
Yeah,
was it was also
it's
on repeat at my orthodontist office when I was a teen.
oh, oddly enough, mine too.
Interesting
At
choices.
least the dentist office. I think it has. There's something so enthralling about the ocean as a kid, and especially marine life, and just being able to explore that with like 3D animation. It's yeah.
Yeah, good choice. My next one, I'm going to go with another golden age film, and I always get so sentimental and sad talking about this one, but it is The Fox and the Hound.
Oh yeah, I can't watch that.
When you're the best of friends. I love that movie so much. That movie, I think I saw it for the first time when I was in first grade, and my teacher played it. And I remember turning to my
Why? Why
friends.
did she do that?
I don't know,
Why?
but I remember turning to my friends at that time, and I was like, "We'll be friends forever, right, guys?" And now I have not spoken to those people in 5 years, but since we graduated high school, I have not spoken to those people. But
Yeah,
it reminds you, like those childhood friendships that you have, they're important, and it's
yeah,
beautiful and it's sweet.
yeah. Um, I don't think you're gonna pick this one, but I'm taking it because it was on repeat in the car for road trips, and I'm gonna take Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, I should have taken that one.
I love, I know, I even love the sequel, Chronic's New Groove. I love those movies so much.
The fact that that was supposed to be a musical,
Yeah,
and they wrote a song which is an absolute banger, by the way. The
it
song
is.
they wrote for Yzma, "Snuff Out the
Yeah,
Light." I love that movie so much. That is a good choice.
yeah. It goes under radars. It really does.
It does. Giant Waterfall. Yep. Bring it
Yeah.
on. Like it. Oh, that's so good. John Goodman and David Spade were perfect casting choices for that movie.
Yes, they were. Yes, they
Say
were.
say what you want. Yes, they're supposed to be Incan characters. Let's look past that. Brilliant, brilliant comedians. Uh,
Yeah.
my final pick is going to be venturing into modern Disney with the live action remakes. Um,
Ooh,
Cinderella 2015,
okay.
because it did better than any of the other live action movies. It stuck to the feel and the tone of the animation, but really allowed its performers to live in their own space. Like Lily
You
James
have to.
Cinderella is incredible, as is Kate Blanchett's Lady Tremaine. Like she's
Yeah. I was
incredible.
gonna ask you who was in it because I don't remember
Kenneth
2015.
Branagh directed it. Um,
Okay.
I cannot remember who played Prince Charming, but he ended up in Eternals later. Great movie, great. I rewatched it.
Oh, all right, yeah. Um, I don't know how to close off my list. This is trouble for me. You know what? No, Lion King. Taking Lion King.
Ooh, okay, Elton John.
I love Timon and Pumbaa so much.
Okay, so to recap on our Disney lists, my drafts are Beauty and the Beast, 1991, Luca, the 2015 Cinderella, 1950, or the original Peter Pan from the Renaissance, and then Fox and the Hound.
All right. And mine are Tangled, Hercules, Finding Nemo, Emperor's New Groove, and The Lion King.
So if you like Carter's choices better, comment that down below or put it in the poll. And remember our new rules. All the other
Oh
movies
yeah,
I've drafted the best curation of Disney movies. These are the only ones you can get on Disney Plus if you vote for them. Everything
yeah,
else goes back into the Disney vault.
yeah.
All right. So for actors and actresses, this will be our final little draft.
Final draft.
And then so we'll let Carter start it.
All right. I have some on the list that I don't know if you would take, so I'm gonna take the biggest one,
Okay.
or currently the biggest one. I'm gonna take Zendaya.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she was not on my radar of ones that I planned on.
Okay.
Um, but you brought him up earlier, and he was already on my mind when we were talking about making our drafts. Jeff Goldblum.
Uh, I I I forgot. I don't know how I forgot, but I did.
I'm taking Jeff Goldblum 100%.
Okay. You know, I'm taking Harrison Ford.
Oh, you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Hmm. So you took Zendaya, you took Harrison Ford. Okay. I'm taking Olivia Colman.
Oh, okay.
I get the Queen of England.
Tell me why I put Elizabeth. I have
Like Olivia Colman and Jeff Goldblum have that same energy to me, especially in their interviews.
yeah.
It's just like they just start talking.
Um.
And then they realize after they said it that they're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And it's just it's fun
Oh
to
yeah. Very
yeah.
chaotic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want them together in something. That's what I need going forward.
Um. You know what we could do as a fun little twist on this draft? Movie cast. So
Ooh,
whose list would be a better cast?
this would be a better cast. Okay. Okay.
We don't have to do that, but it would be
No,
something
I
fun.
like that. So that'll be this one. You guys will vote on who you would rather see as a movie cast, my list or Carter's list.
Um, you know what? Hmm, taking Denzel Washington.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Denzel. Gotta
Particular reason for Denzel?
I just he's one of the actors that it's like my dream. If I could ever be in a movie, it would be with Denzel. There's just something about his portrayals of especially when he's in like a serious role. Like I don't know, it's just something lively about it.
Okay, I'm gonna go with something a little bit he's younger. Walker Scobell.
That is a good pick. That's a
Because I mean it's no secret he has a career ahead of him. I mean, go from playing the younger version of Ryan Reynolds to playing freaking Percy Jackson in a universally acclaimed adaptation of the book. Um,
yeah.
yeah, like I think right now I'm building this cast. Jeff Goldblum plays the grandpa, Olivia Colman plays his mom, and Walker Scobell plays the son. Like I'm seeing something really interesting here. I am afraid my cast is eating.
You know what? I'm gonna hit you back. I'm taking Natalie Portman.
Oh,
Yeah,
good choice.
Natalie Portman. I don't know why. I guess it's my Star Wars poster I'm looking at, but maybe it was Harrison Ford that connected
Yeah.
in me.
Okay. I'm gonna go with a modern actress who I think gives off the same vibe as Natalie Portman. I'm taking Elizabeth Olsen.
Okay,
Not just because of Wanda, but I mean, have you ever seen Kodachrome?
I have not.
Kodachrome is a very, very good film. It's a road trip type movie, and she plays this very like soft-spoken character who ends up, kind of coming out of, her shell and um, great movie, great performance by her. So I would love to see
Okay,
Elizabeth Olsen. and it was I almost picked Aubrey Plaza, but I went with Elizabeth Olsen instead. So
Hmm. Um, Going back on, dream career, dream co-workers, co-stars. Matthew Lillard.
ooh,
I love Matthew Lillard.
okay. So your list so far is Natalie Portman, Harrison Ford,
Denzel Washington, Zendaya, and I don't know if you missed like
and your final one would be Matthew Lillard.
Lillard. Yeah.
What an interesting cast. I do not. That's the cast of the next Knives Out, actually.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is. Actually, yeah.
That's the cast of the next Knives Out.
Yep.
Um, hmm, hmm. Struggling to pick my last one. I'm trying to go purely based off these vibes. Because right now I'm looking at it as like I've cast some weird kooky family drama. Like
Oh yeah, you did.
we've got Jeff
Yeah, you did.
Goldblum, we've got Olivia Colman, Walker Scobell, Elizabeth Olsen. You
I
know,
know who would be perfect to round out your list, and we talked about them way early in the episode, but I don't.
say it because there's no way I'm going to come up with them.
I feel like, especially since you said Knives Out, Chris Evans would kill this cast too with his comedy. But
You know where my brain is actually going?
Ryan,
Steve Carell.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
why, but my brain is going Steve Carell.
that's a very solid list right there.
So, okay. And I mean, Steve Carell's had a little bit of a resurgence recently. You know, he's doing
Yeah,
another Despicable Me. He did If. So,
yeah, If did great.
yeah. So,
um, okay, so yeah, my list: Zendaya, Harrison Ford, Denzel Washington, Natalie Portman, and Matthew Lillard.
introducing the cast of Wake Up Dead Man. And this will be the next Oscar bait film. I'm not sure exactly what category they'll go for, but Jeff Goldblum, Olivia Colman, Walker Scobell, Elizabeth Olsen, and Steve Carell. Which
All very.
would you rather see? We went with completely different vibes on so
We
many
really did.
things, which is interesting because I mean, even looking back at our horror movies, like you really went for the throat on like The Exorcist, and I honestly expected you to go more into the classics.
I know. I don't know. There was just something about I feel like our lists are so different, but in a very good way.
Yeah.
And the one that surprised me, at least on the list, would be your superhero movie. I for some reason my brain couldn't comprehend that other movies other than Marvel exist for this. I don't,
Well, I mean, you came out swinging too with Tangled. Like that was a good one.
oh yeah, Tangled, but also Beauty and the Beast. You took that, so I had to.
Yeah.
I I had to.
The two different eras of Disney there.
Yeah,
It's like the ones we grew up with and the ones we grew into.
yeah, and it's very interesting to see on paper. Um, a lot of these movies we hold near and dear to our heart, so it's just cool seeing the difference.
Yeah. And that, I mean, that tells you guys that are listening, if you don't know us personally, which I know a lot of people who listen do know us personally, but if you don't know us personally, that's, different aspects of us. Like Beauty and the Beast, like that is my thing. I love Beauty and the Beast. Anytime I talk about an actor, I talk about Jeff Goldblum. So that's why
Yeah.
I love getting to do um these episodes, and especially getting to do them with you, Carter. Like
Oh.
just us. I'm sentimental, whatever. Yeah, just like getting to talk about it. Like it's amazing, and I'm glad that we're keeping up doing episodes. I know we want to try to do more, but like I said, school just started for me, and Carter told me the other day that he did get more information about what he's going to be doing for spooky season.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so episodes might become a little tight.
Yeah.
Just because the schedule that I'm going to be working on, if you guys didn't listen to last episode, I am going to be a part of Halloween Horror Nights. And that schedule, I know, right? I know that schedule is going to run me 5:30 to 2 a.m. Um, and I'm probably not going to get home until 3:30 or 4 in the morning. Um,
Yeah, and that's an almost nightly event, right? Especially once you get into October.
yeah, once we get to October, we're pulling, I think, 5 days a week,
Wow.
if not more. But
Yeah. Wow.
yeah, but like you were saying, I'm so glad that we get to do this together. I'm glad that you're my co-host, um, especially since we have some pretty, I would say, respectful knowledge on pop culture.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we always try to come at it in a way that's like, sure, we can have our opinions on it, but we're not like those other people who are like, meh, like, ew, Deadpool. Deadpool's so what?
yeah,
Which is
yeah,
an actual comment I saw about the most recent Deadpool movie. And I was like, have you guys read a comic book ever?
yeah,
Or
yeah.
seen
I
it
don't know.
ever?
It's just I'm fine with letting people have their own opinions because I mean that's important. You can have your own taste.
But
However, if it's a
but
movie that I
sometimes
hate, I'm
but
gonna.
sometimes you're wrong.
But sometimes you're wrong.
Sometimes keep it inside.
Yeah. Looking at you, anybody who likes Snyder's League, yeah, you're wrong. It's not good.
But aren't you so excited for Rebel Moon director's cut?
Oh, yeah, I've been waiting.
Because he can't just make the movie that he wants the first time around for some reason.
Yeah. Um, Wait, don't you mean the new Star Wars movie? What are you talking about, Rebel Moon? It's supposed to be
Oh yeah,
that movie built Star Wars
Snyder
from.
Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah. He went. You know what? We should stop. We should.
We should, and we should wrap this up. So, anyway, thank you for listening to episode 3 of Bartering
Yes.
Hollywood. This was a little bit of a different episode. If you liked this kind of game, this might could become like a every few episodes kind of thing that we do,
Yeah.
just to kind of switch up that barter. Because, like we said, we're not gonna actually deal with like a give me this, I'll give you this, but instead, whose little whose drafts were better. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, so if there's again any topics that you want us to cover in future episodes, we are collecting lists of topics to talk about.
Hmm.
We'll get to them in time, and I'm excited to start talking about some of those topics. Anything else you want to add, Carter?
There is one thing. If you were listening to the drafts and we missed a movie, or we missed a lot of movies, give us your draft list and we'll compare. We'll see who's better.
Yeah, drop your draft list below. Tell us your dream cast for whatever
Anything. Yeah.
whatever weird movies we're making over here.
Yeah.
You are
I
watching.
guess mine would be like a thriller. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think yours is definitely in the vein of, Denzel Washington plays your detective.
Yeah.
Zendaya is the unexpected murderer,
Yeah.
like Chris Evans was. Um,
Spoiler. Spoiler.
oh, spoiler, sorry guys. Zendaya, call us. We've got a movie for you.
Yeah.
Or just call us.
Yeah.
In general, we're okay with that too.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, if you are listening to this on YouTube, make sure that you are subscribing, liking, commenting, leaving reviews. And if you are on Spotify,
Yeah. If you're on Spotify, go ahead and follow us. And if you can give us a 5-star rating, it really helps. And tell your friends about the podcast. Word of mouth does a lot for social media nowadays. So, yes, thank you for listening. And Brennan,
with all that being said, now I'll call that a wrap on episode 3. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time.
bye.
Bye.